What's up, guys? It's the Real Swim Cheesy. We're now only 5 days out, so loving that we're itching ever closer, right? And actually, since we are so close, I've been setting something up for a little bit now, and it's actually getting people from the community, a little bit bigger figureheads, right, who are either to either submit me some answers or actually come on the podcast and talk. So, first person that I actually got to submit some answers was actually Daru, Eno Daru. And if you don't know who Daru is, he's a fantastic Eno player, probably the best out there. Love my boy Diaphone, love DON, love all them too. But Daru's the GOAT, right? He's the Eno. People call him Eno's husband. The Eno. He always has really good sets with people like Gobu. Probably the best in Korea, up there at least. He knows what Japanese, English, and Korean. So if you're ever interested in learning stuff from him, be sure to check out his stream. He streams almost every day, and he's very willing to answer questions. And he posts amazing content on his YouTube and has a really dope Twitter account to follow. But anyways, there's two kind of questions that I asked all these people, as you'll see as we continue, right? And the first one is actually, what do you want to see in this new Strive story mode? So what Daru actually sent to me was, I want to see Delilah's story. It will allow us to predict the characters for the next season. And the funny thing about this too is this was like a little bit ago. This was actually before, he sent me this before we actually got that like full headshot of Delilah, right? So it's really cool because I knew that he did see the story. And again, it's cool to see that he was keeping up with it, that he was also anticipating Delilah even before I think the most people were anticipating Delilah, right? So again, and he's been around Guilty Gear forever. So of course, if he'd seen the Zerd story mode too, knowing everything with Bedman, Delilah being his motivation, it adds up pretty much. And I'm hyped to see Delilah too. So I was really delighted to see this answer, of course. And now that we've learned more about her, her connection with Viking, of course, I mean, she's probably going to be the main character of the story, right? Similar to, she might be the villain too, because, we saw Happy Chaos as a new character as a villain, that our main cast of, like, Ram are going to fight Delilah for at least part of it, so, yeah, there's definitely a lot to explore with Delilah, and as he also states, it will allow us to predict, the characters for next season. Like, particularly, I think, too, who's maybe siding with her, some maybe the old characters that we know, or maybe they are siding with her. Like we've mentioned before, Bridget's like a bounty hunter, so maybe Bridget will come in because, she's, maybe she wants to reclaim that bounty. Then with Jam, she's got a restaurant, right? If they want to help, if we do have a part of it too, like Delilah wanting to heal and everything as well, they might bring her to, Venom and Robo-Kai, she's going to have gain some clarity for talking with them. We might see Aerials again, right? If they want to bring her to her as well. Again, we know that Sin helped Ram a lot in kind of healing and gaining emotions and stuff. Same with Elfeld. So again, if Ram can't really figure out how to do it, she might go to them for help, of course. So there's just so many characters, right, that we could inevitably see and that could be tied. And again, since we also saw May, and since she's like a girl, I know this might sound bad, right? But since she's a girl, people might send her over to Johnny, just because, I mean, that's what we've done in the past, right? We knew Dizzy needed a place to stay, so we sent him to Johnny, because he takes good care of, all the girls on his ship. He truly cares for them, so that could also be a way that we could tie him into that. But yeah, the other question I actually asked him was, what is your wish list or prediction list for Season 2? And his was Delilah, Asuka, Johnny, and Elfeld. So Delilah, I mean, again, a lot of people were not thinking Delilah was actually going to get in, for real, before we got all this new information, right? A lot of people weren't even put him on their list or anything, so, again, it's really cool, and it just shows you how, even though he's a really high-level competitive player, he has been paying attention to the story, so, if you ever, I like to consider myself a true, the OG Delilah fans, the fans before the fans came, and I think Daru would fit right into that as well, so if you want another true Delilah appreciator out there, it's for sure him, as well as Asuka. I mean, Bedman I don't know if he ever met Asuka, so it would be interesting to see. And I think that's a fair assumption, right? I mean, again, being in Guilty Gear, probably knowing the lore forever, right? It makes sense that older players still do want to see Asuka as well as new players, so I still hope he's going to get in. I think everybody still hopes he's going to get in. He's such an important character in the story. He probably won't be in the story too, since we are going to be, a little bit before we might see him get arrested. We might get a little bit more information on that, but since it's going to run parallel for most of it, we probably won't get too much Asuka, but hey, that doesn't mean it can't be DLC, right? I mean, Testament wasn't anywhere in the story besides the credits to be seen, so, there you go. And then Johnny, I mean, we're probably going to see Johnny. It's funny because I feel like everybody's kind of been dodging the bullet with Johnny, right? Like, seen a lot of prediction lists that don't have Johnny on them, because everyone sees May, everyone knows they're going to follow May, but people are like, I don't want to remember Johnny. Like, it's okay if Johnny doesn't get in, right? So, I'm not tied to Johnny or anything, but I like how he just kind of faces it head on. Like, yeah, no, I'd like to see Johnny. Johnny, I mean, on that popularity poll was second in like pretty much every country for popularity. Again, he's a fan favorite. We know that May's gonna be the story. We're probably gonna see him. So again, if he comes up rocking a new design, which I would expect, because one interesting thing I've noticed is that all the characters who've gotten new designs are characters that primarily did not get a big change from the design from XX to Zerd. So if they didn't get a big change, then they get a big change in Strive, right? So examples like Potemkin didn't get a big change. That's because XX to Zerd got a big change, and then pretty much everyone else, didn't get a big change. Now they're getting a big change. So I'd like to see what they do with him, right? Like, see how they change him, see how they implement him, because I know people don't want to see him. They're definitely going to tone him down. That like J super, like just his coin mechanic, like it all just would fit in so well. I mean, we already know that Arxis love their, Gauge characters, as we've seen with, their new characters, the DLC characters, right? So I definitely think that they're still interested in Johnny. I definitely think he'd look cool. And being a stance character, we really don't have a character like that right now, right? So it'd be a new archetype to really add into the game. And again, they could honestly make him pretty easy with that, and not too busted, right? I mean, look at Testament again. Testament came in, people were scared that Testament would be like the most broken thing because he was so broken in the past, but I don't think it's necessarily about, it was the character broken in the past, just again, are they popular and how are they going to change them, Because I'm trying to think, it's not really like a character that they brought back that's like the exact same that's broken, right? I mean, the top tiers right now are what, Ram, who changed a lot, and then their two new characters like Nagori Yuki, Happy Chaos. I guess Leo didn't change too much. He actually like kept all his plus frame stuff too, and he's pretty good too, but that's a whole another discussion, right? But I'd also like to see Johnny, and like I said, I think a lot of people are trying to dodge the Johnny subject, so I do like to see some Johnny loving out here. His final one's Elphelt. Again, people love dodging Elphelt, right? She was a menace in Zerd, but it is cool because I'm sure Daru had to deal with a lot of Johnny and Elphelt back in the day, so seeing that he does want to see those characters instilled, it is really cool. It is really cool, and I'd love to hear that. And again, she's the waifu. I mean, people love her. Again, another gun character would be cool. I know people already say Happy Chaos, but they play so differently. Like, yeah, they both have the reticle and stuff, but they could make it work. And again, they're gonna tone her down, right? So I don't really think that's the issue here. And maybe she gets a new design, that'd be cool, but I think she could probably similar to Jacko, let's be real, bring in a lot of eyes, just because again, she's a waifu, she's really cool. I'd love to see her again interact with Delilah, as well as like Sin too, but of course, when we see big changes, we'll know the story. But again, I think I'd love to see Elphelt. Again, no real attachments to her as well. Like, the only characters that I really cared too much in the past are like Abba and Venom that aren't in, but I still think Elphelt's really cool. I did touch her a little bit. Same with Johnny. I think Elphelt would fit in, right? Like, the cake cutting super looks cool. She's got all the different guns. Like, you can just picture her, I guess, flowing. I can just picture her at least flowing into the game naturally. I don't know exactly what they take away, but again, she'd just be cool. And I know people hate zoners, right? But I mean, we got like Axel, Happy Chaos, and if we're gonna add a whole new, season 4, it makes sense that they do get at least one zoner, and she's got good pressure too, right? So she's very similar to, again, Happy Chaos, at least in that regard, right? Where she's got strong full screen, strong up close, so she'd probably fit in that shooting type. The shooting archetype's been, is Ram and Happy Chaos, and they've been a little busted, but again, I'd love to see her in too. But yeah, no, I really appreciate Daru again answering these questions. Like I said, be sure to follow him on Twitter, check out his Twitch, check out his YouTube. He puts out great stuff all the time. I learned a lot from him. I'm actually main. If you guys didn't know, I do play with a lot of other characters as well, but I learned pretty much everything from watching his streams and asking him questions. So I really appreciate him, of course. Like I said, be sure to check him out. We're now only 5 days out. Get hyped, get excited for these next couple days and who I put on, or who decides to come on ride. And yeah, love you a lot, and take care.